Hello. I think I'm live. Okay, I'm just going to invite these talented, lovely people into the room. I'm kind of half expecting to be able to hear people, but I can't. Hey! We did it!
We are so smart.
Oh, wow, all of us.
I was honestly truly doubtful. I was sitting here for like the last 10 minutes trying to figure it out. Yes.
Talking to?
I'm talking to the world, my honey.
It's like 8 of us.
All 968 of us. How are we all?
Good. How are you? So good to see you.
Well, guys,
Ta-da!
there she is. Amazing.
Motherhood! Doing the juggle!
Life continues to happen all the time.
My poor kid wanted to join the Insta Live. She was like, what's all that stuff? That looks cool.
Jake is joining our Insta Live.
Hey there, Jake.
Jake, yeah.
Hello,
Thank
Chicago. I saw Louisiana, UK, Michigan,
Wisconsin.
London.
Springs.
Wow.
Everyone's commenting on my kid yelling in the background. That's awesome.
Yeah. And Buffalo, New York, where I once did a play.
Oh, cool.
And Kuala Lumpur. How cool.
That is very cool.
Philippines. Wow, there's so many. You have a universal Instagram here. India.
Well,
Indiana, Victoria, BC, New Jersey,
Jess, our
Atlanta.
esteemed co-star and producer, why don't you start the questions off? Because I feel like you're the most capable.
sure. I appreciate that trust in me. I don't know if it's warranted, but first I just want to say hi, Nicole. I haven't seen your face in like live time in so long, and it's so
Too
nice to see you.
Oh, see, I feel like I have seen your face because I go and watch your meditations quite often. So thank you.
Thank you for joining. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I see you here. I see you on live and stuff like that, but I feel like this is a little different because we're actually speaking. So.
I've seen your face
Yeah,
for
it's
3
very
years
nice.
while I was editing.
He's seen your face nonstop editing.
Probably a little too much, Chris.
I just want to say, guys, we've got covered like close to half the United States right now. Minnesota,
I saw that.
Alabama,
That was great.
Illinois, Cali.
One
Someone
representative.
in Melbs. Yes, Australia.
Yeah.
Well, I will take the invitation, Josh. And I guess the first thing I'll ask is just how is it for both of you now to have the film actually out in the world? It's been a long time since we shot it. How does it feel that it's like actually out there?
Well, I honestly, I don't think I've talked to you, Nicole, since you've seen the film too. So I would love to hear what your experience.
I was sorry for the pause. My Instagram hit its limit.
I had to say.
Josh, do you want to go first?
I mean, honestly, my first reaction was, "Oh my God, I missed them all," because it's the most like small family experience I've ever had on a film, with like everyone walked in with built-in relationships, and because Nick is in Australia, I don't get to see her every day like I was used to for so many years, and it makes me miss her terribly.
Yeah.
We have some
I
questions
also-
here. It's called The Tangle, everybody, and it's on Amazon, so you should be able to watch it there. The Tangle. In the UK,
Yes.
Australia, US, they should be available in all the English speakers.
Yeah.
Nick, what was your experience?
Well, to be honest, equal parts weird and wonderful because we did shoot it so long ago. It was shot 5 years ago. So to be coming back to it and revisiting it, it was like, oh yeah, that's right. That's that thing we did in that sweaty warehouse,
Yeah.
you know, out of LA. But equal parts wonderful because of the memories of shooting it, and to now have it go out into the world and be seen by people is really special. And to be honest, I'm super proud of you two because you've gone and got it out into the world. Like you've gone out and got a feature film out into the world, all of your own accord. So I have the utmost love and respect for that.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Yeah, and
Yeah,
so
well
we
done.
shot for people who we shot the chunk that Nicole and Josh are in 5 years ago, but then we shot another chunk 6 months later, and then I shot another chunk like 2 years later. So I've been doing this for it's been a long time for all of us. But yeah, it's hard for me to remember. Of course, you were there for 10 days. We did some rehearsal, but it was a short thing, and then you went and lived your life. But of course, we've been working on it the whole time. So yeah.
Well, thanks, Nicole. We really received that. And honestly, like, it's not possible to do this without the people that were involved, including the two of you. It's like everyone put so much heart and so much into this, whether it was a couple days on set or whether it was, you know, Chris the whole time. We, you know, everyone involved is what made it possible. So thanks.
I also love the film. I mean, it's beautiful, like visually beautiful. I think it's such clear storytelling. And also I've been really overwhelmed by the amount of support, like from all these people who are here with us right now. It's been pretty exciting to know that people all over the country and all over the world are watching it. It's and terrifying because it really was all so personal. It felt like us in this small little world, and now we just kind of go like, okay, here you go, everybody.
Here it is.
You know?
And it's such a unique film. Someone just asked, what genre is it? And shall we say sci-fi? But it kind of sits. It kind of sits in its own realm, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that's my favorite thing that we're getting. Well, two things about we're getting a lot of reviews now from actual reviewers, and first of all, everybody mentions the cast. Everyone mentions how strong everyone was, and I know I'm in it too. But I feel more excited about, you know, watching you, and I'm watching you. So like everyone's so good in this, and and it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not like natural language dialogue. It's not like, oh, this is just, you know, none of us are playing ourselves. You know, it's real acting work, and I'm really impressed with everyone. And so far, that's a pretty universal experience. And by the way, that's not always true with lower budget films. Often people have they're a little more critical of lower budget films because they're like, I don't know this actor or that actor, and everyone's remarking on the acting. So I think that's amazing. And the other thing is that lots of reviewers are like, this is a movie in its own genre, which it is a science fiction film. It's a mystery, it's noir, but it's also just weird and it's unique. And I'm really proud of that. I'm proud we did that. And it's certainly not just me. It was everybody, the performances, the art direction with Eric, the shooting with Robert, and the music. Everything just makes it this own unique little weird thing that wouldn't have been made by anybody else.
Yeah, Robert's cinematography, I have to say, is, and I knew it at the time, like seeing the bits that I saw, but when you go back and watch it, his cinematography, and I'm sure, you know, the collaboration between you two, it sings, and I mean, it looks like any high budget, high end film out there.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I do have a question that someone asked me to ask Nicole, so I'm going to pass this along.
Great.
And also say thank you to everyone in the comments for your support of our work. So the question that has been asked to me on Instagram more than anything is, who choreographed Nicole's dance when she came in and moved around? And I know the answer to that, and I just want you to share where that came from.
Well, I'd love to hear your answer on it because I'm hoping I remember correctly. But I remember trying to knock down Alethea Jones's door just because she's a choreographer, a director. And I was like, I don't dance. I need some help here. Can you please help me with this? But Chris, I remember you already had a couple of really strong song kind of options that you wanted. And I remember I heard one of them and was like, oh, that's the one. So I think I just went away and holed up in my little apartment in Los Feliz, and night after night just tried to kind of put some stuff together. And I watched like old kind of like 1920s, 1940s dance stuff and tried to pick stuff in there. And then I got to a point and I was like, okay, I've done a little bit, and now it's just let it sing on the day and see what it does.
And that's what I remember. I just remember you going, because we're so close. I was like, that's Nick dancing. And
yeah, and pretty much, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of my parents' influence in there. Like my parents have this very particular way of like dancing salsa, and they get really into it. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of my parents in there as well.
Yeah, I just noticed someone just mentioned Reservoir Dogs, and that was definitely an inspiration in that
Yes,
scene.
I remember you showed me that clip actually.
which basically makes me Tim Roth.
Take it.
Yeah, I think that's
or the cop whose ear gets cut off. I'm kind of a combination of the two of them.
Nicole, did you really shave Josh's head? Someone asks.
I did shave Josh's head, and you reminded me that I shaved it daily.
Because it had to match, so I had to have a completely shaved head. And
look at you.
You laughed and laughed every time you did it.
There's actually a video on YouTube. Maybe I need to transfer it over to Instagram of the head shaving.
Oh, yes.
I don't know how many people have actually seen that. I put it up like so long ago, like right after we shot. I should probably bring it back to life on Instagram.
Someone asked before. Go ahead. Someone asked before, Nick, what's your favorite memory from shooting?
I think I mentioned it last time we lived, but the collaborative feel of it and being in it together and everyone pitching in. For me, filmmaking and storytelling, it's all about that teamwork and it's about that creative problem solving. So being there together in that warehouse is everything, like figuring out the kind of big costumey stuff and getting feedback from you, Josh, going, oh, what about this and what about this? And for me, it's about the collaboration. That's the standout for me.
Here's another question that someone asked that I have to ask you.
Hey, just one second, Josh. So a lot of people are asking where they can get it. Just want to repeat it. It's on Amazon right now. You can rent or buy it on Amazon. It's called The Tangle. Please check it out there. And that's just for any country that's mainly English speaking right now. It will go to other countries at another time.
And if you like it, review it.
Yeah.
Yes, please review it. Get on there and review it. So my folks jumped onto their Amazon Prime account and it was actually just there ready for them to watch. So if you have a membership to Amazon Prime, is that the case across other countries? Because certainly in Australia, they just watched it. They didn't.
You just mean it was like on their front page or something?
Yeah, it was like one of the title films that they just chose.
That's great. That's so cool. Yeah, it's hard for us to know exactly how prominent it is. And I think it really depends on where. We got a little dark here. I'll fix that in a second. So if you can't find it right on your front page, just search The Tangle. It's got a poster with Mary Jane in a kind of spacesuit looking thing, and that's the movie. Or The Tangle, Nicole da Silva, or The Tangle, Christopher Sorenkelly, or one of those things, and you'll find it. It'll be there.
Yeah, and in the States on April 6th, it's moving from Amazon.
No,
we don't know that.
We don't know that yet. Yeah.
Oh.
That was incorrect. So we're not sure yet. That's still to be determined, but yeah, we'll keep everybody posted about it.
The more you guys watch it,
thanks to everyone who said that they reviewed it and bought it. We so appreciate it, and it's that kind of support for indie film that keeps us going and keeps us out there telling stories and keeping you entertained. So thank you.
When Nicole's talking about the collaborative, I mean, it really is like the four of us are a big percentage of the people who worked on this film. There's other people we've already mentioned. We've gotten pretty close to naming everybody. One of my main memories of Nicole on set, honestly, with the dance, I couldn't remember what we talked about with the dance. I couldn't remember a lot because I do remember with your performance, Nicole, I just was like, oh, okay, that's good. I like it. I don't remember having a lot of discussion, or we did rehearsal, but once we were on set, I was like, oh, we got it, we're good. I really remember you working on the table and you were sawing something, or you're like, when we were building the set, like you were doing like actual carpentry stuff, and I really remember that. You came down one day for that, and that was probably my most stressful set point, because we had that warehouse, which was not a beautiful place, and then we built this set in 2 days, which I think is incredibly gorgeous. And but everybody had to dig into that, and mainly Eric Thorne. Throw a little kudos to Eric there.
Josh, what was your first reaction to the script?
I thought it was the most challenging text I looked at, and the deepest text I'd look at since I did Shakespeare when I was in drama school. And
It's Shakespeare-esque.
And I remember sitting with you at our favorite little spot, the Mustard Seed Cafe, and going, what am I doing? How am I doing this? And you working through it with me, Nick. Someone asked earlier, what is Nick's greatest strength as an actor and what is her greatest weakness?
I'm truly uncomfortable all the questions coming at me because you three are all so talented and so in it.
I just want to say that her greatest strength is that everything she does is real and everything she does is playful. I haven't found a weakness in her work as of yet, but I'll find it. I'm going to look and...
I feel very awkward.
Someone also asked, what's everyone's favorite moment in the film? That might be a good question for us each to answer.
Yes.
Why don't you go first?
I don't go first.
Josh?
Oh, shit. I have a few. I actually think my favorite moment, because when I watched it, I had just a little bit of PTSD at all the torment and torture. But then there's that moment at the end after Edward...
Don't totally spoil it.
After something happens with Chris's character, and he mentions this poem, and he mentions it like it's mine, and I look at him with the most asshole-ish point of view and go, it's actually Coleridge. And for me, I liked it because it was one of those moments where I got to be playful and let my sense of humor play.
And I told you, Josh, that always got a laugh at the festivals, that line. So
I know, it made me so happy to hear. How about you, Nick? What was your favorite?
I've got too many moments. Like for me, I feel like there are moments paused in time. Like even the simple stuff, like the phone ringing, Cleo ringing, and everyone just being like,
yeah.
And it felt like time stood still and the world revolved, you know? Those kind of like elevated moments, those minute elevated moments for me. Similarly, when Jess, Chris and I were standing over at the bench and the way the camera pulls in.
Yeah.
You know, like those moments that are kind of suspended, yeah. I think, are some of my favorite.
You know, it was something that I forgot. Like, it's interesting. I remember when I watched the film, Jess, you and I had that moment where I try to quietly convince you not to do what you guys are setting to do. I'm trying to have no spoilers. And what was wild about it was I forgot that moment existed. Mm-hmm. And it was such an emotionally heightened moment for both of us that when I watched it, I got like physically transported. My whole body started to well up with tears. And I was so surprised by it. The coffee pot is a lot of questions asking, how did you feel about torturing me with the coffee pot?
It was bittersweet.
Yeah.
I've been looking through photos, behind the scenes photos that I hadn't seen in years, and there are some really funny ones of Nicole behind Josh. You don't even have the coffee pot. I think we're like just setting up the shot, and you're just cracking up, and Josh is like, "Oh God, it's really funny." I'll have to
Why am I doing this to my best friend?
You look really evil in one of them. You're like,
Jess, what was your favorite moment?
Well, I guess there's two, like in watching the film, the two that really pop out. One that I laugh every single time is when me, you, Nicole, and Chris are over talking about what happened, and you say like, this is why we wanted to keep this puka puka from happening or something like that. And me and Chris are like going back and forth, having like a little squabble, and you're so annoyed and like I don't remember exactly what you said. I don't even think it's a line. I think it's like a noise you make, and I laugh every single time. It's just like it just cracks me up for whatever reason. And then the other moment is there's a moment when Laurel has her moment of anger with Edward, and every time I watch it, I'm pissed off. I get so I'm like so mad. I still feel really angry. I'm like, wow, I crafted that moment pretty deeply.
You're very well trained, Jessica. Very
I
well
am.
trained.
Thank you, Josh.
Somebody asked, I thought it was a great question. Somebody asked, what makes this different from other indie films? And I'm curious as to what you guys think. I mean, my thought is, one, that it is a film that almost plays like a play, where it puts the onus of the story obviously on the camera and the camera work, but also on us carrying the specifics of that. But I don't know, Chris, what do you think? I mean, you created this world.
I mean, it's a tough question. I mean, we said this a little bit earlier. So, this is just what I'm most proud of about the film is, and I felt this pretty early on when we were getting it done. I was like, this is just something only we would make. You know, this is just something only we would make. So it's, and I think, you know, there's movies and then there's films, and making a thing that is just itself is, you know, that's what art is, and that's what we collaborated and did. So, you know, it's a science fiction noir film with people who talk like nobody else talks. So it's very different from any indie film. I feel confident in saying that. But you know, you sort of have to see it to know why it's different.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey,
sure.
Chris, I have a question on that, and I don't think I've ever had the chance to ask you this, but is there something in the style of the Tangle that carries through your previous and subsequent work, or do you feel the Tangle was very specific to its own?
I mean, I think both things are true. I think the couple elements are in everything I do, and one is the heightened language. It's not always heightened in this way or heightened to this degree or heightened, you know, in this particular style. But like Chasseur, which is a film Josh and I did, like both our characters, we don't speak like natural language 21st century people. We don't really talk like people from the 30s or 40s either. It's just its own kind of weird Southern poetic language. So I really like pushing the language. I do feel like it's like a heightened language. Yeah, really just heightening it a little bit. And then something fantastical. There's either a sci-fi or a fantasy or some kind of fantastic twist that just makes your real world, just moves you like a half step off of the real world, you know? Yeah. And I feel like the Tangle is just a half step into the future from where we are. There's a few other steps.
Definitely.
But so, yeah, that's a nice question. It definitely is pretty, so the way I wrote it was just like, I switched gears and I wrote that really quickly, and it's really close to my wheelhouse, you know, so it's weird, but it's like, that's sort of what geeky sci-fi and poetry, pretty close to what I like to do.
Someone asked how we all found, someone asked how we all found working together. And I mean, I think that's pretty clear. We were friends before and deeper friends after. It was a dream for me.
Someone asked what was the funniest scene to film, so we can go around and do that.
Oh wow. You what do you think, Nick? What's your first feeling?
It's not really a comedy, but go on.
Well, apparently from Jess's report of the behind the scene photos, maybe I thought the coffee pouring was the funniest scene to film.
Yeah, no. I remember all of you finding that scene very funny, and me not.
I'll admit to having a good time making the film, but I was probably too stressed to remember funny things very often. I have a little, I need to release this. I have a little behind the scenes bloopers reel, which I haven't put out yet. We need to do that. There's some funny little moments in there. Yeah.
And someone asked if there's a trailer around to watch. I'm pretty sure I've posted the trailer on my Instagram.
Follow any one of us and you'll find it on our Instagram, or if you go to Amazon, the trailer is there, you know, and watch it. So it's just, again, for anyone who's just showing up, the movie is on Amazon. Just search for The Tangle, and you can, if it's not the first thing that pops up, you can put one of our names in there and you'll get it.
Yeah. If you put Nicole's name or any of our names and The Tangle into your search bar, it'll pop up. But also, if you go to thetanglemovie.com, the trailer's up there as well, and then it's, you know, like Chris said, it's on all of our Instagrams as well as at The Tangle, which is another page you can check out.
I just want to say one of my favorite moments. So thinking back now, my favorite moments have changed because I had to edit it every once, so I've watched this movie 1,000 times, so they've changed. But one of my early favorite moments really was you cleaning your coffee cup, and it's also one of the funnier moments. And it's one of my favorite moments just because I love the performance. I love that it is funny. You know, this thing where you put your hands up and then you just do your coffee thing. And, you know, Francesca's obsession with coffee sort of runs throughout the thing. It's kind of a funny little joke. But also because for me, the film is very talky and then Nicole shows up and changes the whole dynamic. First of all, there's a bunch of action, which there hadn't been. It was just talking. And then there's just this silent thing she does and takes the screen over for, you know, a couple minutes. And it was definitely one of my favorite moments.
First of all, someone wished me
a happy
Passover, so I have to say thank you.
Yeah, that's very nice.
And someone go ahead, Nick, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say that, Chris, that was one of the big reasons. Like, there were so many yeses for me to do this film. But one of the big ones was once I read the script and saw those moments of luxuriating in the moments and being present in the physicality of things, like the making the coffee and the little dance sequence. Like, how can you say no to that as someone who wants to kind of get into the body of their character? It was just too delectable not to.
Yeah,
that's really good to know, because I mean, because that comes across on screen. But I mean, literally, I mean, I wrote it this way, but you had to do it. Like, you executed, you put the movie in a different gear. Like, you literally, just by your performance, you put the movie in a different gear. And I needed it because there's a certain amount of talking certain amount people can take. It may already be too much for certain people, but at that point, like, we needed something physical, and your character is physical, both in the fighting and then the coffee and then the dancing and all of that. Yeah.
And I think that was always your, like, dramaturgically, that was always your intention for Francesca, right? It was like this gear shift.
Absolutely.
And she does kind of come in there and on some level subvert the lyricism and the poetry of all that text and that tone that your three characters have set for the first however long.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I can tell you what my brother thought was the most funny moment in the movie, and that was the moment where Nicole came in, knocked me to the ground, and started punching me repeatedly. My brother watching the film laughed so hard. It was unbelievable. Someone asked if we're going to do another film.
He's a little sadistic. He's a little sadistic. Yeah. He's a sadist, maybe.
Yeah, and I think he was happy to know that someone who he considers a close friend also beat me up like he did.
Hey, someone asked if we'll ever work together again.
Yes, please.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I'll tell you guys, if you want to see us work together again, I will say this. The better the Tangle does, the easier it will be for us to make another film together. And
we would love to be honest.
And I would love to as well.
And just for people who are watching, you know, there's different ways things get done in the entertainment industry, but films like this, they're hard to do. They're really hard to do. And they really require what we did here, which is people volunteering and putting effort in that is unexpected. And then it really requires support and fan support so that people who have money go, oh, there's a reason to make more of these. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone asked what were some preparations for the film. I'd love to hear Jess and Chris talk on this because both of you were wearing multiple hats. Oh, Josh, you were too, right?
Yeah.
To a degree.
I had relationships that you know, and brought some people in who I knew would be part of this, but these guys did everything. The Tangle is the movie we're talking about. Someone just asked what movie. So what was some of the major prep things and hurdles, you know, for you guys?
Well, it was really fun because before Chris sat down to actually write the script, he talked it out with me in bed over a series of nights, and we just bounced around ideas and characters and who should these people be, and that was really fun. And then we basically a lot of the props and the costumes, they weren't all built by us, but they were many pieces were, and many like various aspects of the set like were put together in small part in our apartment. So our condo became like a workshop. It was like there was spray paint, there was epoxy, there was like Chris was building the helmets that you see, which are each like a little piece of art. And we were like, I don't know, we're basically like soldering things in our apartment, like, and then moved like all of our books and some of our furniture and all of that into the set. So it was like we lived and breathed the Tangle for a while there.
Yeah. Someone asked if there were any injuries on set. Nah, nothing bad.
Oh, I had an injury. I was convinced that I had to wear my Laurel shoes for the whole first day. And for like 15 or 6, I don't know, we shot for a lot of hours. We shot 17 pages and I was in very high heels and I was convinced that I had to wear them all day long because it was my character. And I literally, like, it took a year until my heels were not numb. I literally injured myself wearing. And then after that, I only wore the heels when they were on camera.
That's messed up.
I know, it was not my brightest moment.
I wasn't concerned about injury, but so Nicole was the first one who had to wear the ghost suit on set, and it was also a big day of shooting. It was like action, and it was and I was always the ghost suits. Honestly, you watch the film, hopefully they look good, but as this is often true with movies, it was like a little bit janky, and I learned this later because I had to wear the ghost suit a lot in shoots outside in the world, and you can't breathe. And I mean, there's not any air. There's no breathability in it. And
they'd be great for COVID.
We got it on you, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually a lot more uncomfortable than I thought it was. I felt bad, and we just had to get through it.
I just remembered my favorite moment, and
someone was spanning her, right?
No, but my favorite moment was because they had tortured me for so long. The day that you guys shot and you were all in the suits, I just remember having this joyous moment of looking at the three of you tormented in that like 1,000-degree suit and thinking, now you know. Just so you guys know, we have Nick. We have 5 minutes left. I promised your daughter I would have you off by 20.
Yes, thank you.
22.
Thank you. This question has come up a couple of times. Where did the name The Tangle come from?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
It's a boring answer. I just made it up. So
from the genius of his mind.
It's so interesting because I think it operates on two levels, right? You have this internet, a web, and we have like this super web. So it's a tangle, but also the entire plot of it. And I feel so stupid for not thinking of this when we were shooting it, but I really thought of it when I watched the film, which was the whole thing's a tangle. Who did it? Where is it? Is it that person in this one? And it just kind of all weaves around each other. So you say it's a boring answer. I say it's that kind of thing that sort of filters through you. That's a piece of genius because it tells you what the movie is without knowing.
I feel I love the title. I just don't have any story behind it other than this is what that was what I called this new internet. And yeah, the movie fits it perfectly. I don't think if it fit, we would have changed it. Often I'll have a title that doesn't work, and we'll change it later on, But this was the title the whole time.
Someone asked if there was going to be a Tangle 2, and I just want you to know that my mom is really, really dead set on the Tangle being a TV series.
I think it's got a better chance as a TV series than there being a sequel. Yeah.
Nick,
let's do that.
Let's do a TV show.
But we should shoot in Sydney, Australia, maybe.
100%. It's my favorite place in the world. I'm there.
That would be awesome.
Chris and Jess, the doggo can come. The doggo can come.
Oh, yay. Jake, you can come. A lot of people are asking if it's on Netflix, and unfortunately, no, it's not on Netflix, but you can see it on Amazon. So it's in 68 English-speaking territories right now on Amazon to rent or buy. It's going to be on Google Play and on Tubi TV as well eventually, and on YouTube if it's not already on YouTube. You can rent it on YouTube. So we're not going to be on Netflix, but we're on all these other places. So. And
Jess and Chris, how are our review counts looking? Like, what do reviews mean for an indie film, and how are we doing? How is it getting out there?
So there are different levels of reviews. So there's sort of professional reviewers, and we're doing really well with professional reviewers. It's a really high percentage of very positive reviews, but also what I'm really happy with is high percentage of people reviewers who really get the movie. and just really insightful reviews. I'm really enjoy reading them. Also, again, they love the cast and the performances. Amazon, our reviews are almost all 5 stars, so that's really nice.
Thanks everyone who did.
Yeah,
thank you.
Really, and it's good. Go read through those, and there are, again, some are just being nice, but there's some that are giving real insightful commentary on what kind of film it is, and you can get an idea what it is. But it's really important for a film like this on Amazon that the reviews and also go rate it on IMDb. That's where people go to look, but also it's how Amazon decides whether to put it on the front page or whether to, and then that's how, and who to send it to. And that really determines how far the film goes. It's all algorithms, right? So it's a little bit like likes on your Instagram post. It's just as important for this kind of film. And it's not as easy. You have to write a couple sentences, but that's all you have to write, and then put in the 5 stars. So.
I've gotten some compliments here, which I got to just say thank you.
People are loving your hair, Josh.
Yeah, no, well, they finally got to see it. What were you going to say, Jess? I'm sorry, I cut you off for some silly ego trip.
No, I don't even know. I don't remember what I was saying. I was probably just cheering along.
Someone just asked how long it took to film. I know we're about to finish up. So the stuff in the main location, we shot in less than 2 weeks. We were shooting very, very fast. We were shooting a lot of pages in a very short period of time. But honestly, the last scene that I shot was probably 2 years later. So it took a while to finish all the shooting. The last scene I shot was the watchtower. And
Nick and I met for this has been asked a number of times. We had a mutual friend. Nick was coming to the States and needed to get the keys to her place. And I was given the responsibility of delivering the keys to Nicole da Silva. And within about 7 days, I realized that I met my best friend.
I was going to say, in about 7 minutes.
Yeah, that's probably true. I was super, intimidated. I'd heard all about you as an actor and all these, cool facts. And then I met the coolest person in the world.
Then you met a big goof, and you were like, "Oh yeah, cool, I get it."
Well, I'm a little goof, so it was perfect. So listen,
this is a question that came up a lot. Is there anything you can't do, Nicole?
Yes, cannot sing to save myself.
Oh, okay.
Me too.
Dance.
I should have made you sing.
I used to say I can't cook, but that was mostly to get out of cooking.
That's a lie.
And then I had a kid, and then you got to cook. You got to provide nutrients and stuff. So,
All right, listen, Nick, I made a promise. I'm going to hold to that promise, or my goddaughter's going to be mad at me. Listen, we'll save this, and it'll be posted so people can go back and watch it. And we thoroughly appreciate you guys so very much from the bottom of our hearts. Your support is what's keeping the film alive.
Thank you everyone who's watched, who will watch, who's reviewed, who will review. This is everything for an indie film, so thank you. And you 3 geniuses, it was awesome to sit with you and talk to you. I love you.
I love you all so much. I can't wait to hug you when I see you.
Go have a nice day. Bye everyone.
Bye guys.